Hi, folks. If I could have your attention for a moment. We're about to get things started. I need to see one person from each team over here on the stairs, as well as all the judges, please. And we're going to have a quick meeting, and then we'll get the show started in just a few minutes, okay? Cool. Thanks.
Hi. Saw him out in the lobby.
I'm gonna go do a quick lobby run and grab folks. Do you want to?
Because it always comes out like awkward from it. Yeah. I'm not worth introducing, but thank you so much for considering me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Like formal title and everything. Go ahead. I'm just being a diva. My name is Samuel Levy. I am the National Director of Spoken Word Canada as a partner for the organizers of the festival here at Guelph. Thank you very much for your contribution to the art of spoken word and the development of our future artists. So the work that you're going to be seeing on stage as representatives of the audience as well as the diversity that ideally would represent the audiences that spoken word is to empower
Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to CFSW's 16th annual finals. Give it up, make some noise. Wow, what an incredible week this has been. And who's excited to be here tonight? Yeah, me too. Like really, really. It's gonna be some amazing poetry. What an awesome festival this has been. I have to say thank you to all of you that have come and participated. It has been truly wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. You're what? Yes, thank you for coming. CFSW. I'm glad you asked. We are located in Guelph on the ancestral lands of the Attawaderon people and the treaty lands and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit River First Nation. For historical context, it's important to note that the treaty with the Mississaugas of the Credit River First Nation is less than 30 years old, having been established in the 90s. We uphold the significance of the dish with one spoon covenant, or many, depending on who you ask, and the continuing relationship our Indigenous neighbors have with this land. We acknowledge that this is also contested land and that the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat peoples have history here and are still here. We recognize today that this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging them reminds us of our relationships to this land where we learn and work. As we embark, celebrate, and enjoy the art form of spoken word at CFSW, we invite you to hear the festival in the context of colonialism, with consideration for the stories that are absent and the need for reconciliation with Indigenous nations and people. Are we ever going to honor a treaty? That's a really great question. My hope is hope. So, CFSW. Right here at the River Run in Guelph. Final stage. Oh my gosh. Poetry. Yeah, it's like you guys know what you're doing. Who's first time to a poetry slam? Ha, liars. So, I am Danielle, and I will not actually be your host for the whole evening. That's okay. I'll tell you about that in a minute. It is my pleasure to be your host for the first part of this evening, in which we are going to we're going to highlight some of the amazing performers that have graced our stages this week. But first, we have logistics. So, a couple of housekeeping things. This is a consent-positive space. I prefer mandatory, but we're working on it. So that means you, please, are going to ask anyone before you touch them, before you offer them feedback, even though it may be awesome about their poetry, check in and make sure that they're okay to receive that information. That goes for taking photos as well as posting those on social media. Make sure you have permission. Cool? That said, this event is being live streamed. Make some noise to everybody not here tonight. Yeah. So if you do not wish to be photographed, please make sure you're wearing the beads and we will cut it so that that will not happen tonight. Cool? Few more things. Washrooms are gender neutral. So that means do what you need to in the bathroom and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Cool? And some of you may have been to a poetry slam once or twice. Yeah? So please consider this a general overall warning that there is some heavy content here. And we may you may have some feelings. How do you feel about feelings? Feelings? Who brought feelings here? You all did. A lot of them. So, on that note, please take care of yourselves and each other. And we do have an active listener on hand tonight who I would love to find wearing a glow bracelet, if I can point them out somewhere. Michelle is our active listener tonight. Yeah, Michelle, where are you? That's your mom. Well, I don't see her. Maybe she's just outside. She will be here. She's wearing a glow bracelet. So if you need to chat, please check in with her, and she'll be happy to make some space for you. Cool? What else do I need to tell you? All the things. We're at the River Run, folks. Make some noise for the River Run. Make some noise for yourselves. Yeah. This has been an intense week for everybody, and I'm so glad to be here. I want to thank our volunteers. We would not be able to do this without you. You have been incredible all week long, helping, supporting, scorekeeping, timekeeping, judging, working a bar, driving folks around, setting up things. Make some really big noise, please, for all your volunteers so that this could happen. How about cell phones? Ooh, who's got a cell phone? Kindly put it to silent or vibrate, your preference, but that what you were where you would like to. And feel free to tweet us at CFSW_FCSW using the hashtag CFSW2019. Yeah? Or the Instagram at CFSW_FCSW. Cool? Tweet away. We will also have live tweeters. Alcohol is permitted in the lobby only, but please, who here has tried our delicious Paradox beer? Yes. That is for sale in the lobby, so feel free to step out as you need to take care of yourselves, including refresh, beverage, what have you. Yeah? Cool. And let's give a big shout out. Maybe you guys can give me a little drum roll as I read through the many incredible sponsors that have made this week happen. Let's give it up for the Canada Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, Mussagetti's and Guelph Community Foundation, the City of Guelph, Guelph Spoken Word, Guelph Arts Council, University of Guelph, Student Experience Cultural Diversity Office, Guelph Pride, Spoken Word Canada, Days Inn, Guelph Music, the Woolly Pub, Wellington Brewery, the E-Bar, Sip Club, Cura Naturopathic and Registered Massage Therapy, and Breezy Corners, Guelph Community Acupuncture, and Staples. Yes. Again, wow, what a week this has been. I am really pleased to also be able to share some highlights from the week with you folks tonight. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our first group of poets who participated in our youth event this week. That is Crossing Borders. Yeah, make some noise. Crossing Borders is an award-winning group of newcomers and Canadian-born youth who challenge schools and organizations to share the power in their buildings by sharing the spotlight. Their presentations break down barriers between people one story at a time. They do multimedia presentations and workshops wherever people invite them. If you like what you see tonight, please ask a performer for a business card. Give it up for Crossing Borders.
In this piece, we'd like to dedicate this piece to our Kurdish friends and relatives and all the Syrians who are in danger currently.
We
We are all from Syria.
We are from a city called Aleppo.
I am from Damascus.
I am from Dara. Some of us are Armenian.
Some of us are Sunni.
Some of us are Kurdish. We are all from Syria.
Most kids have a normal childhood with toys and games.
We lost our childhood because of bombs and blood.
الجزء الأصعب في الحرب هو ليس مادي ولكنه الألم النفسي.
It's not the running or the injuries, but the emotional pain that's the hardest.
Wherever we went, they blamed us for everything.
But all we were doing was running from war.
War.
War ruined everything.
Why did this have to happen?
Why?
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 World War I was supposed to be the war to end all wars. There is war in Syria
And Yemen.
and Palestine.
And Israel.
And more than 54 other countries around the world.
We have failed to keep our promise to the dead.
To remember is to work for peace.
To remember is to work for peace.
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 Thank you.
When we first presented this, it was presented in front of the whole school for the Remembrance Day Assembly with about 25 newly arrived students from Syria. Most of them spoke little to no English. Hijab on.
Hijab off. Niqab might as well be niqab.
Given the nonsense displayed by politicians, it's funny how a simple piece of cloth can turn the average person into pariah. Aren't you hot in that, though?
Hot? No, I'm drop dead gorgeous. This doesn't define me.
Just like this, doesn't define me.
Shouldn't detract from my integrity.
Doesn't make me hateable, does it?
Regardless of whether I'm veiled or not, it's your eyes. Your eyes have been veiled with prejudice.
It's not your fault, but it is your choice.
I'm not the one who needs to remove the veil.
Hijab on,
hijab off. Niqab might as well be niqab.
Given the nonsense displayed by the medias these days, if I kill someone, I'm a crazy madman.
If I killed someone, I'm a terrorist.
Same crime.
Different frame.
To what aim? To divide?
To terrify.
To vilify?
For political gain.
To paralyze?
To make it rain.
For money?
Power.
Hubris?
Are we really gonna fall for this? If every Muslim supports ISIS, then every Christian supports the KKK. ولا تقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله.
Do not kill a soul that God has made.
That is what my religion teaches. That is what every religion teaches all around the world to its far reaches. God is Allah, is Yahweh, is Brahman. Different words to describe one holy source.
Hijackers of religion invented man-twisted creation, faithless, destructive incantations.
Allahu Akbar, God is great, come to prayer.
Allahu Akbar!
Never intended to be murdered there. God, please forgive us. Shia, Sufi, Sunni, Catholic, Person, Orthodox,
labels have put you into this box.
church, mosque, temple. Why can't we make this more simple?
Sunni versus Shia,
Arabs hate the Jews.
right-wing evangelicals.
I hate you. Crusades, witch hunts, residential schools.
Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS.
Hijackers of faith? What jackasses?
There's no bad religion. The violence and killing is the absence of true religion. The darkness, the absence of true light. Sure, there are walls dividing us. Broken trust, broken treaties, despots, dictators, diabolical haters.
Occupied territories, checkpoints, genocides galore.
How much more?
Look at me. What do you see?
What do I see? Me. I think I see me.
Hijab on, hijab off. Niqab might as well be niqab.
This isn't about Islam.
It's not about religion.
It's not about land.
Not about gangs.
It's about losing and winning.
Dividing and ruling.
It's about alienation.
We're all victims in this situation.
So powerful is the light of unity that can illuminate the whole world.
قوي جدا هو ضوء الوحدة إذ يمكن أن يضيء الأرض كلها. Hijab on, hijab off. On, off, haven't we had enough? Thank you.
Hello. So I'm Arya, and this is Fernando. We're going to perform a spoken word, and it's about people with mixed race. So, like, what are you? No, really. What are you? I'm mixed. Of course I know him. Don't you know that we're all actually related to each other? We even have secret underground meetings talking about the rules of being mixed. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. But you don't look mixed.
This thing that I must have. Number 1, gorgeous tan skin, but not too tan, because then I'd be seen as a threat. Number 2, big beautiful eyes, light green, dark blue, something exotic.
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 Exotic
eyes.
guys, exotic food,
Exotic culture.
exotic language,
Exotic,
exhausted is what we really are. So, like, how Canadian are you?
5?
4.5?
What kind of question is that? We're
Humans.
humans. We're not fractions that can be
Added
added
and
and divided.
divided.
We're not puzzles that can be
Picked
picked apart
apart.
by strangers looking to see if they can solve our existence.
Knowing what borders I was born in shouldn't change your perception of me. Oh, so you're only half.
Only?
What are you? We are human citizens, students, friends, daughters, sons, sisters, brothers, bubble tea chuggers.
We're a long list of Starbucks lovers.
But by that confused look on your face, this isn't the answer you were looking for when you asked, What are you?
In those university applications, when asked our race, we're the students who can check all of the boxes. But you seem to be having trouble putting us in a box that satisfies you.
We're not always what you expect us to be. You want us to have some of the looks, all of the culture, but definitely none of the accent. What are you?
In elementary school, in grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, who don't dare open our lunches packed lovingly by our mothers because classmates would laugh and point and stare and make faces at our weird food that has spices they never tasted, ingredients they never heard of, utensils they wouldn't know what to do with. And it's definitely not peanut butter and jelly spread between two pieces of white bread.
Funny, 10 years later, you'll be sitting eating the very same meal, but now it's trendy.
Fab.
Instagram worthy.
Hashtag ethnic food.
So fetch.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Arya. It's not going to happen.
We're too much of this side for that side, too much of that side for this side. Why do you have to pick sides? We're stuck in the middle. Always too much of one side for another. Mixed people can feel like they're everything and nothing at the exact same time. So next time you want to ask, what are you?
Perhaps try asking,
Who are you?
or maybe even, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Thank you. So basically, my name is Arya here, and this is a small part of our team crossing borders. We just like to thank you guys for having us tonight. We're very thankful. And basically, everything being performed here tonight has been written by past members and present members based on their own true stories. And basically, everyone's gonna just say, a couple sentences about themselves.
Hi, I'm Esther. My family's from Congo, but I was born in a refugee camp in Uganda and lived there for half of my life, and I came to Canada as a private sponsor.
Hi, my name is Khashar Goba Azaria. I came to Canada about 4 years ago from Iran as a permanent resident.
Hi, I'm Fernando. I'm from Honduras. I came to Canada 3.5 years ago as a point of entry refugee.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Atia from Syria. I leave my country because they have war to the Jordan, and from Jordan to Canada as a country refugee, sponsored refugee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lean. I am from Syria also, and I came to Canada about 3 years ago, and I came as a private sponsored refugee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep it going for Crossing Borders. Yeah, it's been lovely to have them. How's everybody doing? Poetry. Okay, there you go. How's everybody doing? Yeah. You excited for some more poetry? Okay. Then please make some noise from Toronto Poetry Slam. Give it up for AG.
Hi, everybody. My name is AG. I'm an Armenian Canadian poet from Toronto, and I just want to thank the festival organizing committee for choosing me to share this poem with you. It's called Cookbooks, and I want to dedicate it to my parents that are watching at home. Hopefully, please, Mom and Dad, please tell me you're watching. If not, that's fine. But yeah, this poem's called Cookbooks, and I hope you guys like it. Microphones are very difficult. White woman writes cookbook about her 12-day tour across Armenia and Iran. Penguin Publishing calls it an enlightened view and a fresh perspective. Says this book will take you on a culinary journey. Explore the vibrant flavors of the region. Heather picks it. Oprah adds it to her book club. Jessica Smith is now a best-selling author. Still goes home and only uses salt. I flip through the pages, want to ask Jessica if she knows what Nangum Namus means, if she plans on using Western Union or MoneyGram to send the proceeds of the book sales to every city and village she stole from. Perhaps she may consider wire transfers. Wonder if the book would sell if it had my name on it, because I actually know how to cook. I love to cook. So I take Armenian mythology, centuries of survival, a 2,000-year-old alphabet, blend it in a KitchenAid. Make it more palatable for their tongue. They still ask me for my hummus recipe. I failed to mention that the first ingredient is not being them. That I cannot teach Achkachap, that the universe is intentional, this skill is generational, and every one of the cells in my body has already done this before. That my ancestors carried passion and tradition within their fingertips. That my soil be the seasoning that makes apricot stones blossom, that pomegranate seeds fall from my eyes like teardrops. Decorate dishes like rubies decorate my mother's wrist. This taste is not foreign. In elementary school, when I get tired of kids asking me, ew, what is that, it smells? I ask my mom for a Kanadati sandwich. She tells me, Bales, you would not like it, it's disgusting. She knows my palate has traveled. It has more stamps than a post office, but she wants me to fit in. So she hides the cardamom, throws the sumac to the wind. I wonder where the flavor is in this bread. I learned my lesson. When my coworkers ask me, what's for lunch? It looks interesting. I say, bitch, don't worry about it. Now I wrap everything in our lavash, envelop every morsel because it has withstood both genocide and exile. When my people carried it on their back, let it dry in the desert sun, then sprinkled it with water to watch it come alive again. And I guess that's how we all are, because who else can be so insignificant but so proud other than an Armenian? Who else can take flour and water, bake it in a tonid, turn it into a symbol of survival? So Maidik was right. Armenian moms are always right. How she sees my future within coffee grounds, spreads yogurt over all my wounds because it has been healing us for generations. So I know that our food is medicinal. I know her touch is medicinal. Thank you so much.
Keep it going for AG. Yeah, wow, this is going to be such a great night. We are going to keep things moving right along because we have a whole bunch of things to do tonight. So I would like you to please put your hands together and make some noise all the way from Saskatoon. Tonight it's poetry.
Hello. Gagawin Awaski Nasigasun. Egwa Iko Aboriginal. Nia Nehia Wewin. Manaikosis Niaokte Egwa Treaty 6 territory. Ginanan Niskumtanen Inanu, all my relations. We are tonight as poetry, and I'm also a member of the Saskatoon Indigenous Poets Society. And we would like to recognize the land we are on today. To the nations that came before us, thank you for letting us on your territory, for the continued use of your territory, and hope that we can come together so we honor the land that was stolen. I recognize the land, the spirits, those that have come before to break trail for us to be here in Guelph today, and those yet to come. The Haudenosaunee, the Mississaugas of New Credit, the covenant of the dish with one spoon, and the treaties that will hopefully be held and upheld in the future. Also, shout out to our teammate Danica, who was really homesick and needed to go. But she's where she is and is happy, and we're caring for her and really wish she could be here tonight. And also shout outs to the teams who wanted to be here and could not.
Boiled?
I never learned how to braid. Left over center, right over center. Not at school anyway. Not with the other girls at recess. Not at the sleepovers I wasn't invited to, or at the birthday parties I missed out on. But I taught myself to finish off friendship bracelets, reclaiming my right to femininity, learning how my hands can pull us together, creating love in every fiber. Left over center, right over center.
Fingers on hands, soil in our creases, grip bridal rein in teachings from all our relations, like hard work, keep your head down, drops of blood, sweat, and tears rolling down furrowed brow into this land, into possibility and survival, teaching our young you do not make it in this land without left over center, right over center.
I weave my hair together, tie the tips to prepare my hands for working, tending soil, making earth prosperity, making forest joy, making hair a story of sun-kissed tendrils which say, I belong here.
I belong here.
Most days I pick up the story.
Our elders have begun to forget
The names of the little ones who they used to take into the bush.
Tie an ice cream bucket around their waists.
To pick Saskatoons and choke cherries, little mouths purpled.
They have kept the threads, and I wonder
Who will pull them together
When they are gone.
left over center, right over center.
These hands are the ones with fading calluses from minor key pentatonic sounds. Fingers that slide down metal strings, weaving sound together into melody with sharp counterpoint harmony. Music that speaks more clearly than words could hope to say.
Left over center, right over center. With hands and fingers full of hair and community, Left knuckle tucks fierce resistance into fine black strands, sweeping under right knuckles ways of knowing, sharing, not just with what is left. We celebrate our traditions, Agamemnon, carry on, left over center, right over center.
I am receiver.
I am steward.
I am resistor.
I am reverberations.
Balanced as weave, and we will not make it in this land without left over center, right over center. Thank you.
Keep it going for tonight. It's poetry. We have one more highlight for you tonight before we get into a slam proper. Only one more highlight, but lots of poetry for you folks this evening. So please make some noise for C Command. All yours.
I can dance with abandon. I can dance with a band if I land on the stage, or I can dance with the fandom. I can dance on a grave like a rave with a phantom. I can dance with a random object in my right hand. I can dance with a concept or a context or a light beam. I can dance if you fight me. I can dance in the nighttime. I can dance in the morning. I can dance as I'm pouring milk in the cereal. I can dance, it's a miracle. I can dance in the mirror to a stereo or a headphone or a gramophone or having no sound at all. I can dance to a rainstorm. I can dance to remain warm. I can dance to display form or escape to a place no one can reach me. I can dance to be free. I can dance with the old folks. I can dance to the toad croaks. I can dance to the cockcrow. I can dance with the snot-nosed little kid. I'm just a bigger kid. I can dance with a 3-year-old at a party full of grown-ups. I can go nuts. I can go ham. I can dance like a pro man. I can dance like my old man. I can dance like my mama. I can dance with my drunk-ass cousins at a wedding to Funkmaster Flex, Eddie Kendricks, Tom Petty, whatever. I'm ready. I can dance to a Bella Bartok string quartet. I don't even need to drink for that. I can dance to the rhythm of a ping-pong match, sing-song patter of an infomercial. I can dance till my skin turns purple. I can dance to the ends of the earth. I can dance out of the birth canal. I can dance off of the earth for now. I can dance. I can dance. I should dance more often. 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 Maybe we should dance more often. We should dance more often. I think we should dance more often. We should dance more often. Everybody dance party. Literally everybody. CFSW. It's the pre-show pump up. Get ready for some more poetry.
Come on and dance. If you wanna, you can dance. You can dance. All right. Give it up for C Command. Thank you. Thanks so much. How about dancing, folks? Yeah? Who you're gonna need to get some of this out of you later on tonight. So we are gonna have one hell of a poetry slam tonight, followed by the best after party CFSW has ever seen. So I need all of you to take your bums over to the Red Papaya after our show tonight to dance with us with the Soul Motivators. Yeah? Make some noise. They are a phenomenal 9-piece funk band that are going to be here, and we are going to have an awesome time tonight. So, poetry. Poetry. I don't think I heard you. Poetry. You want to have one of those? Okay. Then, without any further ado, I give you your host for this evening, all the way from Toronto. Make some noise for Britta B.
Guelph, Guelph, Guelph! What's good? Good evening, Guelph, Ontario! Yeah, okay. We gotta get this thing started. Y'all having a good time so far? Hold up, y'all ready to have a better time? As you know, my name is Britta. I go by Britta B. Yeah, you know me. And I am a spoken word poet. And tonight I get to be your host. I get to introduce all the poets and the teams coming to the stage. So let's hail them up and give them some energy already. Hail it up for London Poetry Slam in the finals. Give it in all the way from Edmonton, Breath in Poetry in the finals. Root it up for Roots Lounge in the finals. And what do you know, home court advantage, Guelph Poetry Slam in the finals. What you know about that? Good stuff, good stuff. Clap it up if you've never been to a Poetry Slam before. Wow, that's a lot of you. Never? Never been? Wow, y'all gotta come out more often. I was not expecting that because I felt like I was gonna come out here and preach to the crowd, you know? So, okay, let me tell you something. Poetry slams are awesome because it's a great opportunity to get audiences who don't see poetry often a chance to, see poetry more often. So we appreciate you being here tonight, spending your Saturday night with us. And unlike a rap battle, poets aren't gonna come up here and duke it out face to face, insult each other's shoes or moms or, it's not gonna be anything like that at all. Every poet, every team that comes up here is gonna have an opportunity to have the stage to themselves. And then there will be some random judges who I will shout them out in just a bit, who will give them scores. I'll explain that a little bit. But first I wanna get to the rules because there are some rules in the Poetry Slam. Yeah. But you know what keeps things rolling? It keeps things exciting. Some rules are good. Wait, what did you say? Say it again. Give me something to break? Oh, okay, yeah, do that. Just not in the venue. Outside, 40 feet away. Okay, so a couple of rules. So there are no musical accompaniments. There are no props, no costumes, no nudity, sorry. For those of you who came out for some, something risky, some burlesque. That's not happening here. Poetry is what's happening here. And also, you are allowed to read from a book or a device so long as it's not a published book or a published chapbook. There is also a time limit. But it's good, I promise it's good. It makes things real exciting. It's a 3-minute time limit with a 10-second grace period. 20-second grace period, thank you for shouting that out for me. With a 20-second grace period, any second up to 10, for every 10 seconds that goes over, you get a 0.5 deduction from your score, okay? I know, so, keep it in check. What else can I tell you? Also, team pieces are encouraged. You might see some team pieces tonight. Yeah, clap it up for the team pieces. Okay, so let's talk about those judges that I was shouting out. Okay, so judges, throw your scorecards in the air so we can see who you are. Awesome. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and where's my 5th judge? All the way in the back. Okay, good stuff. All right, thank you for being judges. Clap it up for your judges tonight. As I said, as I tried to say earlier, our judges have been randomly selected. They are not supposed to have any bias towards any team or any poets tonight. Our judges will listen to the poems, and then they will give a score from 0 to 10 of what they think the quality of that poem deserves. So 0 being, that was a waste of my time, I could have been at home watching Netflix. Or 10 being, wow, that was an amazing poem, let me follow that poet on Instagram and buy them ice cream after the show. It's the best. Buy them presents? Buy the chapbooks, yes, do that too. Do both, ice cream and chapbooks, all the way. And judges, it's your job to just give your best, keep integrity with your scores, and don't let the audience sway you on your scores. Audience, sway the judges. You know, let them know how you feel. If you like a score, what are you gonna do? I like it. And if you're like, that score could have been better, what are you gonna do? Yeah, and if you just think a judge needs to know that sometimes, like, yo, did you really hear what was going on? What are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, come on. Yeah? Come on, judge. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. Okay, I want to shout out some people who are helping out tonight. I want to give it up for our timekeepers and our scorekeepers. Give it up. Good love. We have Alana and Aaron and Nicole Hannah, EKM in the house, scorekeeping and timekeeping for us over here in the booth, the orchestra booth. And our slam masters, we have Kay and Billy the Kid. Give it up. Getting the torch passed from Rusty Priss. Clap it up. Our honorable slam master of all slam masters. Okay, so they're gonna make sure we're keeping the show going. The poets are in line, the poets are in check and everything. I wanna do a little mic check with the microphones because we had a little bit of technical glitches earlier, so I just wanna make sure that everything is good. So I'm gonna go along, Pooch is in the sound booth there. I'm gonna go along from your left to your right. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check. Okay, also poets, please speak into the mics, not over or beyond unless you're being delivered about that. This mic's good. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, mic's good. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, what is this? For to be in the building, y'all already know. Check, check, here we go. That sounds good, Guelph? Just a little note to our poets. There are music stands as well, just to the side here. If you would like to use that, you can bring that up to the stage. All right, are we ready to get some poetry going? We need some blood though, yeah? We need some blood, we need some sacrificial poets in the building. Okay, so y'all have been doing a really good job of being interactive with the pieces, but just in case, you know, this is the first time ever watching poetry, you've been hearing people do in the audience, feel free if a line sticks out, snap it up. You have snap fingers, or you can rub your palms together. I love that sound too, because sometimes the mood just calls for something a little more subtle. You can also do what I like to call a soul grunt, and sometimes a soul grunt sounds like, yeah, get it, yeah. Sometimes a little more like, it really gets you, it's really, it resonates very deep, so you're like, you can snap it up too, you know? And sometimes it's like, woo. You can do a little like woos and whatnot. As long as you're not being distracting. And always encouraging the poets as they're up on stage. The more you feed the stage, the more energy you'll be able to receive as an audience. Y'all down for that? I love it. So for instance, let's just practice. I mean, like, let's say I was doing a poem and I up here and I was like, float like a butterfly, sting like shampoo in my eyes. Like that. Or let's go. I am not a nurse. I will not take care of you. I am not a purse. I will not carry you. All right, yeah, you gotta snap it up for yourselves. Okay, we got 2 sacrificial poets who are gonna come to the stage, and we're gonna practice this out. So I'm gonna tell you who's on deck. That means you're not coming up yet. You're gonna come on after the person who's coming up to the stage. So I will tell you a team that's coming up, that's on deck, and then I'll tell you the team who's coming up. So I'll tell you who's on deck for sacrificial poets, okay? Then I'll come back out here. Judges, this is your opportunity to get your feels for scores tonight. All the poems after these 2 sacrificial poets, you'll be basing them, are they greater or, you know, not as good as the first sacrificial poems that you heard tonight. So on deck, we have Slamapalooza. Slamapalooza, where you at? Just wave your hand in there so I can see you. Good stuff. And coming to the stage for our first sacrificial poem of the night, give it up for Q from Emotional Baggage. Let's go.
To the white judges trying and failing to understand what the fuck my poems are about. Newsflash, these poems were never meant for you. Newsflash, my trauma is not for you. Newsflash, your pity and white guilt are not an adequate exchange for my trauma, are not reparations. But what do white people know about those anyways? My healing is not for you. My healing is despite you. Your idea of making space is expecting me to take up less. This art form was built by BIPOC, but you never seem to wonder why the stage is so often bleached white. Never stop to think that you are complicit. As soon as I walked on stage, you probably already decided what my poem would be about, what it should be about. Vulnerable enough that you feel sorry for me, but not so much that you actually feel compelled to do something. Angry enough that you feel inspired, but not attacked. I've been tokenized so much, I'm surprised I am not a prop violation. Here's my oppression on a silver platter. No accountability, I mean blame. We know you're allergic to that. Extra feel-good points. Look how progressive you are. Listening to a brown woman without interrupting for 3 whole minutes. Is my trauma palatable enough for you? Easy to swallow, not too spicy? Judges of color manage to understand white poets, probably because their survival depended on it at some point. We all grew up trying to decipher whiteness so it wouldn't kill us. And let me say, your whiteness is still suffocating, still sucking the air from the room. Tell me to calm down and breathe one more time. At least here, you can hide behind a scorecard. Tell me what you really think. Show me how tired you are of the angry brown girl at the mic, how much you want to bet you're not as tired as I am. It's always the same people holding the scorecard, or the gavel, or the gun. This is just another place for white people to tell me to shut up and sit down. What's one more silencing in a lifetime of holding my tongue? Poetry runs in my blood, but you've turned every pen I hold into a switchblade. I've dulled my words so they wouldn't cut you. Even though my throat has become open wound for your entertainment so many times, I've lost count. Your hollow words are just salt on broken skin. The irony is, you will make this out to be attack. Me to be aggressor, but you'll never consider what brought me to this point. Why would you when you're so comfortable in your whiteness? On a scale of 0 accountability to 10 white people for every person of color, how would you rate this poem? Judges, raise your scorecards. I dare you.
Give it up for Q from Emotional Baggage. All right, let's go, judges. Let's see those scores. Up with them, up with them. Okay, scorekeepers, we have an 8.2. Audience, how I feel about that? We have a 9.2. We have a 7.8. We have a 9.2. And we have a 9.8. Clap it up for the poetry. I forgot to shout out our timekeeper. Timekeeper Sammy, how are we for time? Oh, we're good? Thank you. Good love, good love. Okay, you ready for the next sacrificial poet? I know y'all already are, so clap it up for Slamapalooza.
Tanse Tawaham Nitsika San Saze Tawaham Suyi. My name's Tawaham. My team's Slamapalooza. I preside on unceded Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish territory on the west coast. I'm originally from Lutso-Kedene, and I'm Plains Cree on my mother's side. And my team is primarily from Kwantlen, Kitsi, Semiamu, Suwasin, Musqueam, and Coquitlam territories, also unceded, where Surrey is located. Lights go out. I crawl into bed with Dene Cree mom, scared of the dark and so awake for the night that sounded like the hooves of 4 foreign horsemen, and she said, "This is when we pray." With glow-in-the-dark rosary beads which bind underneath all of my family's belief, disguised as relief. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
From St. Scholastica's Academy, I carried my cross home. First fell in front of arrested Green Gate, no Mary to meet, no Simon to uncurl my bones. My mother's garden was contained in slabs of concrete. Some paquita spilled over where she kneeled to pray. She asked God, "Why is Ivy this way?" My father tells me exactly how much he pays, so sisters can lasso my neck with a rosary, hold Jesus in their fists and keep me chained. Wooden roses etched on my neck as a resounding act of contrition melts into pews. They wash their hands in holy water and teach me I'm a sin.
Lights flick on. 16 and on my knees at Youth for Christ Camp AD, the year Jesus is born. We're seedlings, sown in rows of St. Bernadette's parish under the weight of our sins as we sing ourselves apart in the name of the Lord. And camp counselors say, write a letter to your parents, to God. Tell them what you're sorry for. The year water hemlock drill their tap roots beneath my soiled skin. I dig with a safety pin to get them out. Confess, I've drawn blood to belong in a garden full of invasive species. Hail Mary, full of grace, is the Lord with me? If my skin is darker than his, if my conception was not immaculate, my mother no virgin, no savior for her sins, we're on our knees.
Grip the first 3 beads. Sinned, sinning, will sin again. I am a prayer decade dismembered by years on practice. I have learned that every prayer comes with a string attached, that the parallels from sainthood raveled into subterranean white tethers are brooding indigenous cultures from these soils. God, don't pretend you don't know this pain. In millennia, bleaching bones to brittle. Call me glass, low-income townhouse. Call me stones, ricochet. Or just a red-skinned altar boy inside a church, listening to sermons, enacting a sacrament, spreading this weed, rupturing my lineage, fragmented to bead upon a strand of my father, dishonored by his father, converted from Protestant by my mother, made martyr till she made us 4 siblings in her image. No rosary bead ever dedicated to our sacrifice, growing out from Adam's apples, clogging our esophaguses so we don't protest.
The New Holy Bible is an intergenerational anthology of repression, one whose chapters and verses usurps any culture it encounters. Spreads a virus, spreads a weed, spreads war, famine, death, and disease.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I sever this thread.
That was Slamapalooza. Clap it up for the poetry. Judges, I'm going to need to see your scores. Let's put them up in the air. Let's go, judges. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, we're starting off with a 10. How you feel about that? We got another 10. We got a 9.6. An 8.6. And a 9.9. Clap it up for the poetry. That's what it's about. Sammy, we're good for time. Thank you. One thing I forgot to mention for poets and for our audience to know as well, time starts as soon as the poets engage with the audience. The exception is for Indigenous poets who may be doing their protocols or land acknowledgement. We just ask that there be a pause in between that and the poem so that we know when to start the time. I want to also give some excitement to the medals back here that our finalists, our champions, will be walking away with. Clap it up for these Canadian Festival of Spoken Word medallions, the gold. Just so you know how it's going to work, we got 4 rounds, 4 teams. The order's going to switch every time. Are y'all ready to get this competition really started? Clap it up, Guelph. Let's go. Y'all have been such a good audience so far. So on deck, we have London Poetry Slam on deck. Coming to the stage to start the battle off right. Guelph Poetry Slam. Who you sending up? Everyone clap it up for Truth Is.
I only speak English. And this is a satchel of citrus that sits at the pit of my stomach like regret, rivaling with my natural acids. There has been a war rumbling. It is the battle of having history versus finding a future, and I have found myself on the front lines, willing to die with or for whichever one is in the spell from my body, wanting to hold both close without fearing my mother would rather salt the soil that gave birth to all nations than let me arrive at a home I was never given instructions on how to get back to. How do I tell her? I've never even set foot on her soil. I tell her I still want her to know who I've become when we no longer even speak the same tongue, lost in transition between thought, heart, and lung, the savannah regions, Atlantis, and the transatlantic. There has never been anything romantic about lost or stolen languages. So I remember trying to tell her how I forget. I'm trying to remember to tell her how I forget how these languages have been stolen from our tongues and how I wish I'd learned these languages sooner. Learn the language of time back instead of up. Learn the language of love, and this is when curiosity tastes like the lemons life loves to give, leaving a taste of sour on the cusp of my lips as if preparing me to drink nothing but lemonade for the rest of my existence, knowing it would never be sweet enough. There would always be more zing than necessary, tearing the tang of past demons in its pulp. I still hope my past catches up with me because I know history is the only present I can offer the future. I want to learn the tongues were cut out for, and the reason feet learn to dance to heartbeats so I can tickle eardrums with the whispered words of inspiration more palatable than the language of love. But I only speak English. And when spoken ideally at best, it defines me as less than black. Less than everything I already am. In this world, I see it as a circus in which I'm on the same tightrope they used to hang soldiers who had their uniforms forcefully swapped with that of a clown before they kicked the boxes from beneath their feet. You see, this world will tell you march lightly, because even when you get in, doesn't mean you fit in. So you can see where my conflict begins.
That was Guelph Poetry Slam. All right, judges, we've given you some time to think about it. Please raise your scorecards in the air. Good stuff. Okay. Audience, we have an 8.9. We have a 9.3. We have another 8.9. We have a 10. And a 9.5. Clap it up for the poetry. We're good for time. I love it. On deck, we have Breath in Poetry. Coming to the stage is London Poetry Slam. Who you sending up? Okay. Everybody put your hands together all the way to the stage for Fazia.
When I was a little girl, I wanted to bleach my skin. I wondered what it would feel like to peel the flaps folded around my fingernails and roll the melanin away. If I had stripped myself down to white muscle and bone and hung up my flesh on a coat rack, like something to be worn only by choice, would I ever wear it again? If I was just muscle and bone, would I still spend hours of my day trying to impress a society of hypocrites? Would confidence act as a stepping stone instead of a reason to be called ratchet and ghetto? Would I finally recognize myself in the words that tumble out of a boy's mouth as he describes what beauty looks like? When a group of people list the names of the most beautiful women in the world, would I finally think, yes, perfection is obtainable, it is plausible, it is comprehensible. I do not have to bend my body out of its natural shape to finally look at my reflection and see excellence. I don't have to break my back to be seen as what everyone thinks is beautiful. The words of black men all across the world do not twist my bones and hurt me, leaving lasting imprints on my body. I wouldn't limp home every day after tiresome hours spent trying to be a gymnast. I wouldn't feel like a caricature, like a vessel roaming the earth, masking my true emotions with your whitewashed expectations of what I'm supposed to look like and sound like and be like if I was just muscle and bone. Would I finally just be me? If I had found a way to turn the outer exterior of my body into one deserving of privilege, and to one that didn't have to think twice about wearing the color they were born in, and to one that saw her natural hair, face, and body on TV, and to one that wouldn't have to tell her children that they don't have to bleach themselves to have a face that is visually appealing. So to any colored children listening, I want you to know that if someone makes you feel like you don't belong in the skin you were placed in, this does not mean that there's something wrong with you. It's the home they were raised in. To any colored children listening, I'm telling you this because I know you won't believe me, but you were sculpted from the heavens and your skin is beauty, so you don't have to change the ethnic name you were born with. You don't have to hide from sun kisses, slather your skin with ointments. You don't have to run from passion and loudness. Be quiet to not be called ratchet. You don't have to pray to God for whiteness. It is a gift to have pigment on your body. Don't be sorry for having it given to you, because trust me, looking at your reflection through the tears streaming down your cheeks when you finally stripped all of your color away, carving your body into a marble sculpture, titling it perfection, turning yourself into a pile of shredded skin, and we're not muscle and bone, will not actually make you happy.
London Poetry Slam. Okay, judges, let's see the scores in the air. Get them up, get them up. Good stuff, I got 5. Okay, so we got a 9.5. Audience, how you feel? We got another 9.5. We got an 8.0. We got a 9.8. And another 9.5. Good for time? Good stuff. Audience, you've been so good. You know, this is a really big stage, and y'all making it feel real cozy. So thank you for your energy. Y'all ready for the next poets? Yeah? Good stuff on deck. We got Roots Lounge coming to the stage. Please give it up for Breath in Poetry. Who you sending up? Give it up for Kaz Mega.
Can we be one body of water real quick? When I say fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt 'em, soak 'em, I want y'all to say water fight, okay? Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt 'em, soak 'em. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt 'em, soak 'em. So I'm doing this right now because I want us to embody water, the rage of water. I'm talking back more about like Standing Rock. We got a scene here. We got people protectors. We got water protectors. They're fighting at a bridge over water. The people protectors are using water to soak the water protectors. Also pepper spray. Water is streaming from their eyes. They're using water to wash it out. You know, Dasani, bottle manufacturers who pretend they manufacture water. This for water must have been a really disturbing moment, and I want us to channel this, and I flow. So I want to flow for water. So fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt 'em, soak 'em. Water be like, I was going to hit 'em with the flow. Flow ain't ever finna to be cleaner. Sipping what you filtered H2O. Oh, I'm still asking what the Fukushima.
My water pressure busting through your dam, and y'all don't give a damn about a beaver, super soaking blood into the land, and fighting over water by the leader. I was gonna fill a rubber sack with water, slap it on your mask, on your snorkel, punch you breathing through a tube, boy. I was gonna spit tsunami, probably litter bodies, literally dripping on, be soggy, soaking by the pool toys. Water fight, walk on water, heat the spot up, heated sauna, ooh boy. A couple hydrogens, oxygens, take them to the block again to take them back to school. I was gonna hit them with the really violent 50-gallon piston challenge, just to challenge bucket challenge splash sounds. I was gonna switch the style up, swish around a little saliva, spit it out as liquid balance, bet you better back down. I was gonna woulda, coulda, shoulda, isn't, did you now? You're rinsing out condition squads and squish it out your pants, wow. I was gonna ride just to try it, saw a status and I liked it, tweeted and invited all my bestest friends out. Selfie, selfish, product of aquatic, hashtag thirsty, mostly made of water. We are the apocalypse, it's just how we were brought up. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them. Fill it, lock it, pump it, aim it, squeeze it, squirt them, soak them.
Breath in poetry. Judges, what are your scores for that poem? Raise them up. All right, we got a 9.7. We got a 9.1. We got a 10. An 8.3. And a 9.9. Clap it up for the poetry. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, we're gonna close out round one in just a minute, but let you help me hold myself accountable here for round two. Breath in Poetry, then Roots Lounge, then Guelph Poetry Slam, then London Poetry Slam, okay? So y'all just keep me in check, okay? All right, on deck, that means we have Breath in Poetry, you're on deck, okay? Coming to the stage, closing out the first round, and our first time hearing them, clap it up for Roots Lounge. Y'all are sending up Scribe, all the way to the stage.
I can never hear the islands in my mother's voice. She left home behind to find a future that offered more than sunshine and poverty, and somewhere along the line, she made me. I never heard Jamaica in her mouth, only ever our speakers. Songs I'll never know the names of, but can sing on the track like I'm featured. Our house was stuffed full of melody. We were smitten with the sound of music, but if strangers stepped inside, they'd be surprised we listened to it.
I look back and I feel jealous. When my mother could hold Trinidad in her heart but moved to the drumlines of Phil Collins, no song sung in Hindi, but every lyric to Bohemian Rhapsody, be the Black Magic Woman and Bollywood all at the same time.
I could never hear the islands in my mother's voice, and I don't blame her. She was only trying to protect my innocence, in a sense restricting our culture so we got wisdom without the explicitness. But assimilation increases with generations if left unchecked.
Over time, home sounded less like home and more like threats. Islands through aux chords.
Sounded like exile,
so our voices repressed, coerced into a melting pot, dissolving what our culture does best. I drowned it out with the sounds of emo rock. Loud colors in my hair, red and black as if it wasn't on the Trinidad flag, banged straightened over my eyes to cover a culture I couldn't claim to be mine.
I learned to riot and mosh and headbang in time. Remove the tide from my waistline, metal stiffening my wine.
Hiding under a rock music, checkered shirts like armor and Converse like steel-toed boots.
Hiding behind music the world called white.
But the roots were always mine.
As if we didn't carry guitar riffs and blackened bones, power chords from ancestors stolen by our oppressors. As if rock and roll wasn't just heart and soul.
One part West Indian,
one part black, embarrassed about what made me whole. It's no wonder the alternative black kids have a complex, trying to be two sides of the same coin when there are complex connections between countercultures and composure.
We're at our brightest when we let our layers shine with the same warmth our mothers left left behind to build us a better life.
We can carry on what they watered down for the sake of their survival. We are all the flavor in the melting pot, the seasoning in the sound waves, tuning our tongues to hold the language we lost.
The rich ingredients in our music trace farther back than we know.
We don't have to be afraid of where we've come from or the places left to go. Us alternative black kids can like everything, but can't forget where our quiet tastes originate. So when you start to hear traces of the islands in my voice, appreciate the toned-down tones of my mother tongue. A tribute to the rich Caribbean sun on my mother's face.
Roots Lounge closing out the first round. Judges, let's see them scores up in the air. Let me see if I have 5. I got 4. I need one more judge. Good stuff. Okay, we got a 9.8. We got a 9.6. 9.7. A 9.9. And a 10. Clap it up for the poetry. Roots Lounge, you're on deck. We have, coming to the stage, we have Breath in Poetry, and you are sending up Brandon Wallace Case. Clap it up, audience, all the way to the stage.
For kindergarten, I went to a Catholic school. I learned the Lord's Prayer before I learned how to read, and every day we prayed. Teacher teaches us about culture, about being who we are, knowing where we come from, and I danced home with a smile the size of my whole nation, and feet alive with a rhythm only the Creator could provide. And we prayed. For Class Culture Day, I bring my Uncle Sidney. Mom says he is an elder. He taught me everything I used to know about my indigenous culture, and I hear he even knows our language. Lucky enough to have learned it before he was in God's school. He teaches us about tradition, about survival, about a people born from the dust beneath your feet to make my family. And we do not pray. Later, my friends and I play Indians. Because in a land as sacred and holy as this, who even needs cowboys anymore? We roamed the plains of our classroom, remembered how the buffalo traveled. Teacher, there are no buffalo in this land, I said. Can you help us find more? When she tells me that the world would have been better if you people starved, I do not cry, though I watch as all the color began to drip from my face. I am a ghost now, pale and lost, my dear teacher. I can teach you about hunger. I can teach you about the nights with nothing and the mornings with less. How I have starved to death and awoke in my grave to pray in the moonlight. Look at me now. I am just like who you pray to, white-skinned and dead. But teacher, I am not hungry, not anymore.
Breath in Poetry! Okay, judges, let's see them scores for that poem. Good stuff. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We have an 8.9. We have a 9.3. We have a 9.0. A 9.4 and a 9.7. Clap it up for the poetry. And we're good for time. Our scorekeepers are good. Just staying up with me. I love it. Okay, on deck we have Guelph Poetry Slam. Coming to the stage, we have Roots Lounge, and y'all are sending up Shelly. Everybody clap it up for Shelly.
My boyfriend's mouth draws bullet casings on my lap. He talks of a night after going out, about a man opening fire above his head, trying to crown him in a cascade of bullets. Because you see, loving a man with skin like his in a city like this that gets way too hot in the summer is like having a casket for a heart. Because sometimes you wonder if all you'll have is memories, because no matter what, in some capacity he will live forever, but I want him here, I want him breathing. When he tells me, I throw my body across his in reaction as if I can hear another bullet in the chamber getting ready to marry his skin to soil. My heart, a casket that I pray remain as empty, a door I refuse to let time knock on too early, my prayers, a deadbolt of a lock. There's so much hate in these streets, no loyalty and no real men, but always talking about keeping it real and ride or dies. But some people, they collect casualties so casually, and me collecting memories as if souvenirs, my heart, a shrine waiting for a church step to sit on. So maybe, just maybe, when they said orange is the new black, we should have listened harder. Because men really anointing their bodies in orange over petty things, really baptizing other men in blood over nothing, really killing people's sons over silly things. But revenge ain't for humans. And only God's supposed to end life, but they wear his cross on necks and skins, verses tatted alongside their mother's name, both a mother and a father they long ago gave up on living for. Their own mother's scared of them, of their own kin, of all the damn sins, sad they didn't raise a man, or sad they have to lower one into soil, mourning either the dead man or death of innocence, wondering when their baby gave away their childhood and picked up a gun, wondering when their baby put down their Bible and their faith, hung up compassion in the back of their closet and traded in their soul for Henny and rags. My boyfriend is my fondest now. And I know I can't have forever, but I'll fight for as many tomorrows as I can. I would take a bullet any day, without pause. I hold his hand tightly and I whisper God onto his body. I'm always asking God to never put him in the wrong place at the wrong time. I do not want a casket for a heart. I want my baby in my arms whole and holy. I refuse to let memories hold spaces that he should. So give me tomorrows. But at the very least, give them to him. And if someone must marry soil, take me. Make me into armor. Just leave him whole, leave him loved.
All the way from Toronto, Roots Lounge. Okay, judges, let's see them scores. We get that poem. Okay, audience. Oh, we're waiting for one more judge. And we're going to get it started with a 9.1, a 9.4, an 8.0, a 10, and a 9.7. Clap it up for the poetry and the poet. On deck, we got London Poetry Slam coming to the stage. We have Guelph Poetry Slam, who y'all sending up. Okay, give it up for Patrick Kelly.
We've been here before.
History is not linear.
History is the familiar
And the future. It comes in waves. And yet we seem
surprised
surprised still
when we stand on that beach
or bank
of a river in the belly of a storm.
and are met with water's wetness.
Asking, how could this happen?
There are so many quotes on how history ebbs and flows indefinitely. Those who cannot remember the past
Are condemned to repeat it. Each time history repeats itself, the price goes up.
Silence ensures that history repeats itself.
Repeats itself.
In school,
Repeats itself.
history was just a narrative of contraction and expansion.
They made old stories small so we could feel we've grown large again.
We now know history as surging back and forth, left and right,
Crashing onto the shores of cultures and communities better left alone. Because every left turn leads to one farther right.
And all the wrongs.
For all our advancements, sometimes it feels like we're rediscovering the root of square one.
we slowly spiral toward hot calamity because the consequences all seem too distant.
From headwaters held hostage with pipelines at our necks, to threatening another body until salt splashes into wombs.
Like Nescantaga First Nation Boiled Water Advisory.
Like Flint, Michigan. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Just because water evaporates and dries in the sun doesn't mean the floods aren't coming. Is this what the cost is?
Those who do not control the flow of arms
Do not control the conversation. How much does this hit hurt? Stop hitting yourself.
Stop hitting yourself.
Stop hitting yourselves.
But we know that these are water cannons that should be ready to shoot upwards in protest.
From front lines to walkouts to bus boycotts and bent knees.
And where do we go from there? Thinking we've moved past the past
Only means we're not paying enough attention to what's happening
in the present and what's coming back to haunt us.
like waves crashing
when we stand on that beach or bank of a river in the belly of a storm and are surprised still.
As
if tides and movements were something new.
We are steeped in this history,
But the addition is barely noticed in our busy lives.
Every time history repeats itself.
murder.
Each time history repeats.
Genocide.
Each time history repeats.
Extinction. So make sure you remember this. Make sure we can talk about it. The way pipelines and treaties have been broken and the blood spill spreads wide.
That we are paying for each ounce of oil with shorter breaths and tainted streams.
And when humanity falls in what once was a forest, no one will be there to hear it.
History is repeating itself.
Repeating itself.
Repeating itself.
We've been here before.
But the price has never been so high.
Guelph Poetry Slam! Judges, what are your scores for that poem? Let's raise them up. Get them up, get them up, get them up. Good stuff. We got a 9.4. We got a 10. A 10. A 9.0. And a 9.8. Clap it up for the poetry. That closes, no, that does not. We're going to close out our second round in just a moment. Audience, you still good? Good stuff, keeping me in check. I like it a lot. On deck for the third round, we have Roots Lounge coming to the stage, hailing from London Poetry Slam. Who y'all sending up? Clap it up for Annika.
It starts in kindergarten, a classroom full of tiny seeds of potential, a teacher who is excited to help them grow, and my mother asking schools, so what would you do with a 4-year-old child who can already read short chapter books? It starts in kindergarten, school after school saying she's doing fine, saying she can learn it again with the others, saying we'll treat her the same as everyone else. and all my mother can hear is, "We'll make her the same as everyone else." If a magnolia tree and a rose bush are the same size, only one of them is thriving. If a magnolia tree and a rose bush are the same size, you do not stop watering the tree. If a magnolia tree and a rose bush are the same size, they both still need care. Both still need nourishment. My mother once told me that her elementary school tried to prune people like her, people like me. Tried to cut them down to size, shape them into perfect uniformity. She didn't meet the smartest boy in her grade until high school because the two classes had to be of equal ability. She was cut off, starved of friends, of supports, of knowledge until she almost wilted, almost withered. She refused to allow the same thing to happen to me. She taught me to see the seeds of potential inherent in everyone, but she refused to allow me to see my own potential as anything less than limitless. She taught me through gentleness the things she learned from pain, taught me to value the things that others might call strange, might call warped or abnormal or broken. She showed me the marvel of the magnolia tree. How it protects itself, not with rough bark, but with smooth. How it blooms early, before it grows leaves, an explosion of pink and white, petals the size of my palms that slowly fall away to green as it learns to nourish itself, with leaves the length of my forearm reaching up towards the sky. It starts in kindergarten. My mother asking school after school what they would do, until one of them says, "Wow." Until one of them says, "That's amazing." Until one of them says, "We'll make sure she has plenty of books," sets me to writing stories as my classmates learn phonics, lets me skip a grade in math, and then another 2 years later, one of them says, "We want this tree to grow as big and strong as she can. We believe in what this little flower could be. We want her to believe, too."
Give it up for London Poetry Slam, everybody. Closing out the second round. Judges, let's see your scores for that second poem from London Poetry Slam. All right, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5. We got an 8.8, an 8.9, a 7.9, a 9.9, and a 9.7. Clap it up for the poetry. Good stuff, good stuff. On deck, we got Guelph Poetry Slam coming to the stage for the third round. Get it started off right. We got Roots Lounge. Who you sending up? Give it up for Mahul.
Nav Bhatia.
Waving his white towel like a white flag, surrendering himself to his love for Canada, to see A12. I remember the first time I saw his crown courtside at a Raptors game.
I'm an immigrant.
I'm the daughter of an immigrant.
I came to the Great White North post-racism according to the racists. Nav arrived before Toronto was the immigration destination.
Before Toronto was multicultural, white tongues gentrifying names like neighborhoods. This year, the Raptors jersey became a lifeline, a bridge connecting two worlds. My skin lit up like Christmas lights when I saw Nav smile across the big screen in that Tim Hortons commercial.
Something doesn't sit right. We can't celebrate Tim Hortons for making a Seat A12 commercial
when they got busted for busting employee benefits because the minimum wage went up.
Makes me wonder how my mom would have recovered when she worked there in 2005, providing for her family, cooking for her children. I used to walk into arguments about dollar signs. Parents always lied, said we were fine.
This NBA season, immigrant parents had a beacon sitting courtside.
Nav Bhatia,
the Raptors superfan, hasn't missed a home game since we had home games, wearing Vince Carter's orange headband on his turban.
Like jewels on a crown. The immigrant success story superfan, the sunflower that grew from the sidewalk. I wonder how many times he got called a terrorist.
Turban guy.
I wonder if he thought about flying back to India after 9/11.
I wonder if they would have even let him on a plane, because the story of Nav Bhatia isn't about Toronto being progressive.
Isn't about Toronto at all.
It's about the price you pay for armor against bigots and racist cliches. Because Nav's story came with a price. $1,000 Raptors tickets were enough.
But not bravery and sacrifice. Nav made millions selling used cars
because no one wanted to give a brown-skinned man a white-collar job. When a white man chooses us for Halloween, we give him accolades.
Call him prime minister.
And it's all okay. Just another young man who made mistakes. Canada is not all it's choked up to be. Not all white picket fences and wraparound porches.
It's leaving home as an engineer to come here and wait on welfare.
Don't say my city isn't racist. Don't say it. A coffee cup doesn't carry the untold stories.
Don't thank Toronto for Nav's success.
When immigrants with degrees back home still work dead-end jobs just to make ends they can't meet. Don't sell me Nav Bhatia on a silver platter.
And say, hey, look, immigrants can buy the American dream too.
Because Nav is one of the lucky. Nav doesn't fly commercial anymore. Probably doesn't even drink Tim Hortons coffee anymore. Nav doesn't know this Toronto, the everyday Toronto.
I'd like to believe my parents could stand in his place and be treated the same. A brown man in a coffee commercial does not give us this privilege. Our immigrant parents are superfans all their own.
Have been sitting in seat A12 all their own. Pouring the coffees you've been drinking.
Filling the plates we've been eating.
Their superpower, immigrant optimism, standing in the nosebleeds just happy to be there, deserving of their own commercials.
Roots Lounge! All right, judges, we need to see them scores. What do you got for us? Good stuff. Okay, we got a 9.9. We got a 9.4. We got a 10. A 9.9. And a 10. Clap it up for the poets. On deck, we got London Poetry Slam. Coming to the stage is Guelph. Guelph Poetry Slam. Who y'all sending up? Everybody clap it up for Elise.
Have you ever spent an evening in your lover's arms only to feel the empty space between you? Have you spent hours sharing and listening only to see more clearly the shell you hide yourself inside? Do you notice the moments when you disappear? When you miss a connection because you're too afraid to see where it leads you? Do you notice the moments you try to stay? To feel your fear and move deeply through it? Because some days it is not enough to simply exist. Some days we need to stop hiding behind brick walls built of silence and Cinderella masquerades. But how do we learn vulnerability when the only safety we've ever known is to hide ourselves? A wise therapist once told me, with risk comes possibility, without risk comes no possibility. And while I tried to wipe the privilege of his cis-het white male gaze from my judgment, I resigned that his point was no less accurate than the string of stories I tell myself on lonely nights beneath blue slope ceilings and stencil butterflies. Like a crab, my shell protects me from pain, but eventually we grow too large for the bubbles that were meant to keep us safe, and we need to molt into new ones. So maybe everything we've ever learned about strength is just a story to keep us trapped in outgrown isolation. Commodify fear so they can sell belonging back to us in Hallmark cards and family discounts. Teach us to hide the parts of ourselves the world most needs to see. I've been told that my poetry is brave, like A rehearsed string of syllables to a sea of spotlight-hidden faces even compares to admitting to myself that I'm grieving, that I fucked up, that I'm too afraid to try again. No, this microphone is just another mask I hide myself behind when 23 hours and 57 minutes of my day is spent pushing shame into the crevices of dusty closet corners where even I can't find it. See, I've learned that true bravery is not in the sweeping gestures of performed vulnerability. The hard stuff, the really dirty work is in the everyday moments when we allow ourselves to be present. Choose to write an imperfect poem. Listen to what our body tells us. Apologize for how we treated our partner. Challenge ourselves to get to know our siblings. The moment when we lock eyes with someone and don't turn away, even for a moment. Because what we're running away from is not what others see in us, but what we see in ourselves. So I invite you to hold your eyes open a little longer. Risk getting to know the person on the other side of the mirror, and maybe together we can redefine what it means to be strong.
Guelph Poetry Slam for the third round. All right, judges, raise them scores in the air. Good stuff, good stuff. We got an 8.0. We got a 9.7. We got a 10. A 9.6 and a 9.0. Clap it up for the poet. We're good for time, good stuff. On deck, we have Breath in Poetry. Audience, are y'all still good? I love it. I love your energy. I love your warmth, and I love your encouragement. I love your vibes, man. Can I take y'all home? Can I take you everywhere with me? Good energy, good energy. Okay, coming to the stage, we got London Poetry Slam. Y'all are sending up Eric. Clap it up for Eric.
My grandfather was 4 years old when World War II broke out, 5 when trains started coming to his town, and when he was 6, his family was taken away to a Russian concentration camp. Like an orchestra hall instrumented by screams of murder and violence, his grandparents were executed on the spot. His family held captive in the yard. They learned to eat their own skin for dinner because it was safer than wearing it. They drank Molotov cocktails out of tin cans because breathing fire was the only way they would survive. After 12 months, his mother had taken the money she had stitched into the lining of her skirt, used it to bribe a guard for their ticket out of hell. After 3 years of running from his misery, my grandfather was so happy to finally be free. But even after the war had ended, he was still seen as the enemy. Because he was German, they called him Nazi, blamed him for a war he did not start, associated him with the people that wanted him dead. This is a side of history we don't talk about, because it's easier to carry on the blame than to forgive yourself for being wrong. My grandfather was not a Nazi, yet they still called him one. They still spat in his face and painted blood across his forehead. Even after my grandfather escaped the war, he was not free. He spent the rest of his life trying to live down a history he was not a part of. My grandfather died 5 days after his sister. To say he died of a broken heart isn't that far of a stretch, but the truth is that nothing could kill my grandfather, that even after the cancer started attacking his lungs, he fought it with a smug grin across his face as if to say, "Not today, you motherfuckers," and he won. When my grandfather truly felt free, there was nothing that he loved more than life. But as time began to decay his body, his smile fractured the same way. As his age began to creep slowly through his bones, his depression left him hospitalized and on life support. I cannot say if my grandfather deserved to die, only that he wanted to, that he got so tired of counting himself among the living when living became far more pain than it was worth. When the doctors told him that there was no chance of survival, he asked us to set him free from his life's final suffering. He wanted to disappear peacefully rather than spend his remaining days like he did as a child, scared,
alone, wanting to go home. On the day he died, my grandfather did not want to argue anymore. He said, I can't stay here. We said, don't leave us. He said, I have to go. So we bowed our heads, disconnected the ventilator, watched the light escape from behind his eyes, his breath fade from a solar flare to a firefly, his heartbeat echoing into the horizon until it took the same shape. Medical assistance in dying helps 2,000 terminally ill Canadians escape this world peacefully every year. When I think about how my grandfather must have felt when he finally put his pain to rest, I realize that the last memory I have of him is a happy one. And I understand now why he always wanted to be free.
For London Poetry Slam. All right, judges, you know what to do. Raise them up. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, we got a 9.3, audience how you feel. We got an 8.6. We got a 9.0, a 9.7, and a 9.8. Clap it up for the poetry and the poet. Because it's not the points, it's the poetry. We're good for time, good stuff. London Poetry, you're back on deck, okay? Coming to the stage, you got Breath in Poetry. All y'all sending up. Clap it up for Gabe, all the way to the stage.
Kakina, Hargwe Wino Maskoi Hkwewo Kanipawi Radijna cousin, Main Gando Dem, Kichisipi and Donji, Akinira Ben Donjba, Nijmani Dowag, Bibi Ogichta. I'm Gabe, this is Brendan. We hail from Treaty 6 territory, colonially known as Edmonton. We would like to say in the highest form of gratitude that my people have in Anishinaabe Moan, Kichimiwich, to the land of the indigenous people and the spirits that have resided here since time immemorial. We are honored to be here. We hope to do you justice. Ahome takoyase.
The absurdity of Christianity. Being told that somewhere up there is a big white God
who looks over all of us. He sent his only son to die for our sins.
Because a daughter's life wouldn't have been worth as much. Look at all the poverty and explain to me why billions were spent on the Notre Dame.
Because white people painted on stained glass windows are worth more than my people painted in blood.
Christian values makes a nation stronger. And for us, the descendants of the assimilated people, those that had religion shoved down our throats, that had our teeth ripped out for saying his name wrong or not at all, those of us whose blood covered the earth of 2 separate continents, united by slavery so that this God could have his cotton, his silver, his gold, his furs.
We, the descendants of those who forsake their connection to the DNA embedded in this earth, who walked inside of a building to find God and accepted him into their hearts to feed their starving families.
We, the descendants of the natives when the conquistadors read convert or die in a language you had never heard before.
You'll tell me there's beauty in faith, there's community in a church, and I don't want to take that away from you. But tell me, what do you say to the child Jesus set free when their parents are freebasing religion the way my sister does narcotics?
Kids on reserves are starving, but the pastor needs a new car, so up your tithing. Do you know what it feels like to read the entire Bible just to realize you'll never meet the criteria for heaven, so you'll attempt suicide? Because what's the point? Let me tell you about a child who finally comes out to their family only to be sent to conversion camp where bad touch is coded as the healing process. Gay is only okay if the priest's the one doing it. Don't tell me there isn't absurdity in Christianity when Columbus stood on these shores and declared himself the new God, incumbent these natives as docile slaves. Don't believe me? The white side of me is proof. When you have nightmares from your ancestors that grieve the loss of their culture, and you have to watch as your parents pray to the same fucking God that ordered their genocide, your apologies can rot.
Explain to me why this God is so much better than Mother Earth, whose soil birthed me.
Explain to me why this God has subjugated us so the 1% can prosper by stepping on our graves.
Explain to me why those of us forced through genocide are the ones most passionately defending him.
Explain to me why you can't see that your ticket to heaven is purchased from the blood of those who prayed on this land millennia before your Jesus Christ was even a thought.
Breath in poetry. Judges, up with your scores. All right. We have a 10. A 10. Yo, we got all 10s. Clap it up for the poetry and the poets. Breath in poetry. Friends, that closes at our third round, which means we only have one more round. Only one more round. Y'all are so good at that. Can I get everyone, I love doing this one little quick thing. Everyone pull out your cell phones if you got one, all right? Your little smartphones. Put the little flash on it, too. Yeah, put the flash on. Is my flash on? Oh, I don't know if my flash is on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say... CFSW, what is poetry? On count of 3, okay? Y'all ready for this? Y'all got it? Yeah? You can wave your hand in the air like stars, and you can send good thoughts out to the world, to the galaxies, to your people, to your loved ones. Everyone, 1, 2, 3, CFSW, what is poetry? All right, make some noise. We're going to do it again because I forgot to make a video. Okay, here we go. Stars up in the air. Send those good thoughts, some extra good thoughts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. See ya. Make some noise. Y'all ready to close out this fourth and final round? Poets have been working all year, not just this week, all year to make it to this stage, okay? So clap it up for all the teams that aren't in the finals tonight. Clap it up for all the cities, all the provinces, all the people behind the scenes, the event organizers. And give a thunderous roaring, lots of love and energy to your 4 finalists. This is the last time you'll be seeing them on this stage tonight. Give it up. Deck, we have Breath in Poetry. Coming to the stage to kick off our 4th and final round is London Poetry Slam. Who are you sending up? Everybody clap it up for Zane.
Crystal Valentine. Y'all know what black privilege is? Black privilege is knowing my best chance to win a poetry slam is in February. It's everybody knowing why. Black privilege is reserving the right to say certain words like nigga, or Trayvon Martin, or Danny Washington, or Michael Brown. It's my mother wondering if going back to a genocide is safer for her children than these streets. Black privilege is my body being nothing more than a breeding ground for lives I cannot save. Black privilege is knowing my sisters are twice as likely to become the ghosts that haunt prison cells. Black privilege is writing eulogies for every brown body I've ever known. Black privilege is a lie. It's a thief. It's a noose. Black privilege is not committing a crime every time I hear all lives matter. Black privilege is me not punching every white bitch named Sarah who went and got dreadlocks for the aesthetic. Black privilege is me biting my tongue every time someone mispronounces my name. If you can't say my name, it's because I ain't love you enough to teach it to you. Black privilege is knowing that Taylor Swift makes more money than Beyonce. It's knowing Obama was the last black president for a really long time. It's being able to name more dead black men than dead presidents and millionaires combined. Black privilege is watching our children burn, but who cares? There's a chapel in France that's on fire. Black privilege is always recognizing your own features on TV after another police shooting. It's knowing Wakanda would have existed if y'all had stayed in your lane, or at least your own goddamn country. Black privilege is me having to prove to my daughters that they're beautiful because this world won't let them believe me. It's my brother telling me he don't date black girls, as if his mama ain't a black girl, as if his whole family ain't a bunch of black girls holding the world together so he can walk on it. Black privilege is being told God can't look like you because God is good and good is light, as if God ain't make me in his image, as if God didn't name me beautiful, as if God ain't staring me in the face when I look in the mirror. Black privilege is having a hollow body screaming for love, but having only dead names to fill it. Black privilege is always standing strong. It's having a tree trunk for a spine, an ocean for a heart. It's never resting easy. Black privilege is knowing prison is safer than the basketball court. It's knowing hood off, hands up, don't resist the same way you know stop, drop, and roll. Black privilege is knowing I've hugged at least one person who doesn't get the privilege of old age. Her name was Cheyenne Charles. And there I go again, using a black girl's name without her permission. There I go again, spitting out bones that don't belong to me. There I go again, using my black privilege.
London Poetry Slam! All right, judges. What did you think of that fourth and final poem from London Poetry Slam? Raise your scores. Good stuff right off the bat. We got a 10. We got a 9.5. We got a 9.9. We got a 9.8. And another 9.9. Clap it up for London Poetry Slam. We're good for time. On deck, we got Roots Lounge. Coming to the stage, we have Breath in Poetry sending up Nisha Patel. Clap it up.
Nine things I want to say to Elizabeth Gilbert, author of popular novel turned movie Eat, Pray, Love, in which a white woman discovers herself in Asia. Number 9, your salvation is an expensive plane ticket, a cheap meal baptized in bottled water made by women whose backs have hardened into iron spines after years of turning themselves over open flames. You say that you've never tasted flesh, but I highly doubt it. Number 8, when I go back to India, I do not go outside. I do not go swimming. I do not go to the beach, at the bazaar. I cling to the arm of my father. On the motorcycle, I close my eyes. I am lonely instead of solitary, and I cannot stand the smell. Number 7, When my father goes back to India, he litters on the streets like a local number 6. When I go back to India, I salt my tongue in the forgotten Gujarati for I am not getting married. Nothing in this country tastes like love. Number 5, when my eldest brother goes back to India, he meets his bride 3 weeks before the wedding. She speaks English. Her entire life changes in the span of a month while I lounge on string cots eating mangoes. I do not know what leaves a worst aftertaste in my mouth. Number 4, the boy calls me exotic, trails his fingers on my flesh like I am a living tiger skin rug, toes sinking into my soft. I do not tell him what it feels like to be hunted, to be coveted by someone, to be sometimes beautiful, and other times I know what it's like to be shot in the back on a middle school playground. To have my hair pulled, it was only an accident. To be called dirty, even after the coconut oil has settled into freshly washed hair. Number 3, when my mother goes back to India, she points out the dead strays that have laid their last breath onto dirt roads that no government wants to fix. She does not wrinkle her nose. Instead, she tells me to watch my step, lest the blood of an animal whose only mistake was being one too many mouths to feed soak into designer sneakers that have no place finding home in a city like this. Number 2, when I go back to India, I play dress up. Number 1, it must be nice to visit a country someone once crossed oceans to pillage. It must be nice to see a place so corrupt that women who look like me are beaten in their own homes while women who look like you are treated like royalty. It must be nice to go to India and write a book on white paper. It must be nice that you saw a country with over 1 billion people and still only thought about yourself. It must be nice to be able to return to a home where only ex-girlfriends and not heaving white boys are allowed to egg houses. It must be nice to be able to go back to your country.
Breath in poetry! Breath in poetry! Judges, that was our 4th and final poem from Breath in Poetry. Raise those scores up so we can see them. We got a 9.5. Audience, what you feel about that? We got a 9.9. We got a 9.8, a 10, and a 10. Clap it up for Breath in Poetry. On deck to close out the round, we have Guelph Poetry Slam. Coming to the stage for their 4th and final time, we have Roots Lounge. Who y'all send it up? Everybody clap it up for Dwayne Morgan.
During the pre-movie celebrations, one of my friends mentioned that she almost canceled because her cramps were so bad. Just like that, the conversation became damp and heavy, almost as though an unexpected menstruation cloud had formed over our sunny celebration. Information shared with nonchalance had some up in their feelings, feeling uneasy with the natural processes of womanhood, and the irony was the ease with which we proceeded to watch the blood and gore in John Wick 3 while struggling with the reality of a woman bleeding in real life. Like a hand just got cut off and we didn't even flinch. But to think that there could be blood in this room sent Tum to the brink of insanity. Yet we have all played rhythm method Russian roulette, spending weeks praying that she gets it, then having the nerve to be upset that she's bleeding, as though her blood weren't the blessing that we were praying for, as though her egg weren't the sacrificial lamb saving us from becoming dads, letting us off the hook. Look, I have cut my finger while trying to cook and almost fainted. Struggled to wash the blood away and put a Band-Aid on, and some of us struggle just seeing a tampon box. I once gashed my knee, took 2 days off, the pain making it hard for me to walk, and then in waltz women on crimson carpets, always showing off, bleeding for a week and still showing up, alive and smiling. What magic is she made of? What superpowers does she possess? Maybe it's time that we reassess our notions of the weaker sex. Can you imagine how this world would shut down if men got periods? History reimagined, allowing room for PMS to be used as an excuse. G20 summits planned around cycles of the moon. Time of the month rooms mandated for every workplace. Sprayed with lavender, furnished with chocolate and sweets. Empathy if someone spots me spotting. Free hot water bottles at your local coffee shop. Advil dispensers for when the migraines pop up. Free tampons and pads. Flexible sick days to deal with the cramps. A statutory blood holiday where we pay homage to the brave men who have bled before and honor those who are bleeding now. Bloody hell, we would reimagine Moses parting the Red Sea, see menstruation as a badge of pride. We would have compassion and empathy for other men, which we so easily deny. We, like I, who have cried from paper cuts, never experiencing the gut-turning of cramps, surprise visits from Aunt Flo, the anxiety of being late, or simply knowing that you've got to handle this one on your own. Blood will be spilled, and you will live to tell the tale that men are often too weak to even imagine. We will watch our heroes on the big screen, but it is our heroines who bleed, kick ass, take names, adjust their capes, then wait for the next battle to take place. Real-life Avengers with no infinity stones, years away from their endgame, but monthly making us marvel, and that is the truth as I see it, period.
Roots Lounge. All right, judges, tell us what you think of that fourth and final poem from Roots Lounge. Get 'em up, get 'em up, get 'em up. Get 'em high, get 'em low. I see all five. Ooh. We got a 7.4. We got a 9.9. We got a 10, a 10, and a 10. Clap it up for Roots Lounge for their fourth and final poem of the night. And our final poem of the night goes to Guelph Poetry Slam. Who y'all send it up? Audience, you ready for your fourth and final poem? Your fourth round, last poem of all the poems in the rounds. Let's go, Guelph. Let's make some noise. Come on. Keep that round of applause going for Fannin.
Memory requires two processes. A, familiarity, plus B, recollection, working together in unison. When these two things are out of sync, we experience C, deja vu. Father abuses mother, mother abuses son, son abuses. This is father knows best with back fists and belts. This is apron string turned noose. This is little black boy too naive to understand that this is not love. This is trauma. This is trauma bonding. This is trauma bonding me to a lifetime of addictive behaviors. This is being locked in a cell. This is scrolling through the electronic echo chamber of acceptance. This is searching for the missing pieces of my childhood. This explains a lot. This is class clown. This is court gesture. This is keep them laughing. They won't ask why you're crying. This explains a lot.
This is confusing fists for affection because at least we're still connecting. This is confusing sex with love because at least we're still connecting. This is confusing slam with art because at least we're still connecting. This explains a lot. This is therapy turned cliche. This is you didn't deserve it. This is you're still worthy of love. This is have you ever tried reaching out to her? Hello, Mom? Can we talk? No, I don't need money. Why do you always forget it? Just forget it. This is, we've heard this story before. This is childhood trauma never goes away. This is, we've heard this poem before. This is hide the bruises. This is lie to the doctors. This is don't invite your friends over, they may find out. This is scar tissue. This is bigger picture. This is black community cannibalizing itself. This is black community cannibalizing itself. This is hip hop misogyny. This is dude bro mythology. This is how monsters are made. This is failing. This is numbing. This is filling in the holes. This is confessing. This is telling the boy it wasn't his fault. This is forgiving the boy for not running away. This is loving the boy so much I forgot to love myself. This is not wanting to write this poem. This is no one should ever have to write this poem. Memory requires two processes. A, recollection, plus B, familiarity, working together in unison. When these two are out of sync, we experience C, déjà vu.
Guelph Poetry Slam for that final poem of the night. Clap it up. Judges, let's see those scores in the air for the final time tonight because we're sick of your judgment. I'm joking. All right, we got a 9.9. We got a 9.8. We got a 10. Another 9.9 and another 10. Clap it up for the poetry tonight. We're good for time, good stuff. All right, I'm going to take a little moment here to tell y'all to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at CFSW_FSFC. I can't remember the French part. I'm sorry. J'ai oublié. FSCW. FCSW. Spoken. Merci beaucoup. Du fond de cœur pour tout ce que vous avez fait. I practice that just for the stage, you know? Gotta reach my tout le monde de français. Qu'est-ce que fuck? All right, as the scorekeepers tally up the scores, did y'all have a good time tonight? Make some noise. I know I did. My heart's racing. That's a good sign. Okay, look, for those of you who came to a poetry slam for the first time tonight, I want you to go home. I want you to Button Poetry. I want you to Vancouver Poetry Slam. I want you to all the YouTube poetry things you could do, all the Instagram poetry things you could do. But most importantly, I want you to go to a bookstore and go to the poetry section and buy some poetry books. Okay? And our merch table in the lobby, buy some poetry books, support our poets, support our artists. We even got some poets in the crowd still. So see about a poet, see about a book. Paper is a very beautiful thing, and I think it's nice to hold things because these are like archives, you know. And I'm like hoping one day maybe someone will buy my book, but I haven't done that yet, so we'll do that later. Oh my gosh, the scores! Give it up for Billy the Kid and Kay, our Slam Masters. Goodness gracious. Should I just invite everybody to the stage? I think so. All the teams, come on up to the stage. Our 4 finalists. Woo! Clap it up for all your finalists. Yeah, line it up, line it up. Make it like a nice little horseshoe or something.
That shit was
Line it up, line it up. Don't we look good up here, all this poetry and shit? All right, are y'all more nervous now, or were you more nervous coming in? Okay, let's just get on with it, right? Okay, here we go. In fourth place, runner-up, please give it up for London Poetry Slam. Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. Good stuff. Yo, take all the pictures too. Tag hashtag CFSW 2019. Make sure you do that. Okay, in third place, runner up, give it up for Guelph Poetry Slam. I'm also gonna tell you their scores too, just so you know. So London Poetry Slam had 113.5. Yo, judges, y'all were on one. And Guelph Poetry Slam had 115. These scores are so close together. Okay, your runner-up. Can I get a drum roll from the audience? I'll tell you your winner, actually, okay? So drum roll for the winner. Well, your runner-up, your second place. Should I do the one or the two? I should do the two, right? Okay, I should do the two, okay. In second place, hailing from Edmonton is Breath in Poetry, which means Roots Lounge takes home the medallion. CFSW champs. Breath in Poetry, take a bow as well. Friends, it's been an honor to share this stage with you tonight. I hope your hearts are full. I know ours as an audience, they are. Roots Lounge, let's pass around these medallions here. Give it up for Dwayne Morgan. Give it up for Scribe. Give it up for Shelly. Give it up for Desiree. And give it up for Mahul. Your CFSW 2019 champion! Do y'all want to say a quick one too? I don't even know if we have time, but I figure a quick, little plug, something,
Yo, actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. First off, thank you to my team. Thank you to all you wonderful. Can all of you give yourselves a round of applause for being here this whole week, for sharing stories. A special shout out to the Indigenous Poets Society from Saskatoon. I don't know if y'all are still here, but we love you. To be quick, to be frank, if y'all are still in the province, Roots Lounge is tomorrow, Sunday at 866 Bloor Street West. Hopefully they're still live streaming this so people can actually show up to the show. I want to say shout out my wife. Thanks for holding in our baby for a week so we could do this. And to all our people supporting us, our families, our moms and stuff, I'm gonna stop talking now. Shout out to all the people practicing and loving the forum. We love you. Peace.
Roots Lounge, #1. Give it up for poetry, though. Yo, good love. Thank you so much. Don't forget, we got an after party tonight, and the Soul Motivators will be in the house, keeping things right. I'm going to pass things off back to my friend Danielle. It's been such a pleasure being your host tonight. Again, my name is Britta. I go by Britta B. Yeah, you know me. Y'all already know, done know stuff.
Thank you, Britta. Give it up for Britta be your host tonight. Give it up for your poets tonight. Give it up for yourselves. I want to say thank you again to the incredible volunteers that we've had to make this happen, to our sponsors to make this happen, and please come and hang out with us with the Soul Motivators at the Red Papaya. You have to access the front door from the front of the building at the beginning of the Quebec Street Mall, across from the naked statue in the fountain. Yeah? Okay, cool. Find the naked statue. Cross there. Come and see us. Keep your tickets from finals tonight, and you'll get in for $10 at the door, or flash your fancy pass. And thank you again. And let's give it up one time for your FOC. That's Elise, that's Patrick, that's Beth Ann, that's Truth Is, and myself, Danielle. Thank you all so much. Thank you to the River Run. Don't go home. Go to the Red Papaya. Love you all.